I've been a teacher for a really long time, and soon, God willing, I'll be a rabbi too, another kind of teacher. But more importantly, I became a father just about 6 weeks ago, tomorrow, and watching someone literally change into a new person every day makes me appreciate just how miraculous it is that you have reached this day, that any of us make it to the moment when we transition out of our childhood and into adulthood. And in a very Jewish sense, that's what is happening. I think of all the times your parents must have done a midnight check, right? Make sure you're still breathing, or worried maybe they were bathing you and feeding you too much, not enough. Are you too warm? Are you too cold? How do you ever know that you're parenting right? How does one trust at the beginning that their tiny human will grow and develop and struggle and persevere and finally, one day, be able to come up here and demonstrate to their community just how hard they can work, how much they can learn, and how special and important and unique they and each child can be? And when I look at my daughter, I can only hope that her success looks at least a little bit like yours. Now, I suppose it's okay that I finally tell you that getting Ki Tavo as your bat mitzvah parsha can be a bit of a blessing and also a bit of a curse. Tomorrow, you'll be reading from the very beginning verses, no blessings, no curses. It just speaks about the duties of the Israelites towards God once they enter the promised land and bring forth their first produce of the land, again setting the precedent for the festival observance through their offerings. Now, you'll tell this to us in your own words, so I'm not going to waste any more words on that bit. You've done a better job. But there is a moment in our parsha that I will talk about, in which Moses and the Levitical priests address the entire nation, preparing to lay upon them a series of blessings which, disturbingly, are overshadowed by the horrendous curses to which the children of Israel will be subjected should they fail to obey the commands of God. Vadaber Moshe v'kohanim haleviyim el kol Yisrael lemor. Moses and the Levitical priests spoke to all of Israel, saying, Hasket, ushma Yisrael hayom hazeh nihyeta la'am l'Adonai Elohecha. Silence. Hear, O Israel, today you have become the people of the eternal your God. And it continues, listen to the eternal one your God and observe the divine commandments and laws, which I command you this day. Sounds familiar, very Deuteronomical. We've heard some of this before. What follows is what I'm going to call a blessing sandwich, served between two thick slices of curse bread. Curses, blessings, curses. And it's a bit difficult to digest. But I want to focus on the way that Moses is meant to address the people. Silence. Okay. This is not merely an instruction to stop talking or to maintain a passive, quiet environment. The term demands active silence, intentionally creating a space to listen intently. And it's followed, Ushma, listen. Like in the words of the Shema, which we learn earlier in Deuteronomy and say daily as part of our prayers, this is not merely about hearing. It also carries the instruction to pay attention, to understand, and to obey. It means that whatever comes next is really important, and you shouldn't take it lightly. Then, the curious bit. Today you have become the people of the eternal one, your God. Really? Today. Today, on the banks of the Jordan River, as Moses gives over those last few instructions before going off to die, leaving Joshua in charge, today, what about when the Israelites were given the 10 Commandments? What about when they heard the covenant and declared, Na'aseh v'nishma, first we will do, and then we'll learn about it? What about the day when they completed the Mishkan, that portable tabernacle in the wilderness, and initiated the sacrifices? What about any of the other days in which they accepted the rule of God? What makes this day special? I'd like to suggest that perhaps this moment signifies the bar or bat mitzvah of the children of Israel. Bringing it back around. Remember, these are not the same people who marched out of Egyptian slavery. Most of those people already died in the wilderness over the course of those 40 years. And the people whom Moses is currently addressing, well, they're their children. Children who have never worked the land, never toiled for food or engaged in manual labor for the benefit of other people. These are the children of the wilderness, and the time has come for them to say goodbye to the only home they have ever known and to go off to a new place, to fight for land and learn trades and to work and eat by the labor of their own hands. Basically, it's time for them to learn how to adult. Today, Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel, becomes Am Yisrael, the Israelite nation. And the world is harsh. There are rules, and those rules carry rewards and punishments. Daddy Moses won't be around anymore to protect them when things go wrong, as things often do. This is about taking responsibility and learning a harsh reality, that the delicious blessing sandwich often comes packed between the dry, stale, cursed bread of affliction. And Miriam isn't around anymore to quench their thirst with water from her endless well. Only the well springs of Torah can do that. Aaron isn't around anymore to beg God's forgiveness and intercede on their behalf. They will need to follow the systems set in place for them and do the hard work of making amends. This is very important as we reach the high holy days. The task is ours. Mia, there is a time to be silent, to make room for others to speak and to give them respect, kindness, patience. There's a time to listen, to learn, to understand, to obey, when the wisdom you're hearing is just and founded in truth and ethical principles. But there is also a time to acknowledge that you are a child of the Eternal One, that today, this very Shabbat, you transition from passive participant to active member of the Jewish people, the people of Israel, with all of the blessings and even the curses that this entails. When it comes down to it, the most important thing is to know the difference. The most important thing is to have the wisdom to see the many blessings that already stand before you, and also to have the understanding to see the curses in the world and know in your heart how you should respond. Today is your day. Today is our day to be loud and proud, to speak clearly with a voice that is truly yours. When you are called up to teach us Torah tomorrow, may we know to be silent and pay attention. And may this holy Shabbat day bring us all an abundance of blessings. Shabbat Shalom.